हाय गाइस, आई बिलीव आई एम ऑनलाइन आप सबके सामने आ चुका हूं. सॉरी फॉर 5 मिनट्स बिकॉज एक इंपॉर्टेंट कॉल आ गया था तो मुझे बात करनी थी. दोस्तों, वी आर इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू एंड फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट इज द फर्स्ट ओपनिंग क्लास ऑफ ऑनलाइन बैच 25 जून दिसंबर 2034 वी आर गोइंग टू टारगेट. 25 जून है. आज के दिन 1983 वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल हुआ था. तो all the students who have joined us for online classes, this is for you actually. Then there are so many students who are still confused that how in online classes Vineet is going to teach. So I'm keeping this session free, and I'll also keep some 2 3 4 classes free of cost so that you can understand my pattern, you can adjust with my pattern, and if you feel that you want to join, you can be the part of it. तो शुरुआत की 3-4 क्लासेस हम सबको आपको ऐसे ही इस टाइम पे फ्री देंगे. आप इन्वॉल्व हो जाइए, देख लीजिए, क्योंकि इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड देन यू कैन बी द पार्ट ऑफ इट, राइट. बिना जाने बिना समझे किसी चीज का पार्ट नहीं बनना चाहिए. चलो लेट्स गेट बैक. सो डिटेल्ड सिलेबस 2024. मैंने कुछ दिन पहले एक वीडियो पोस्ट किया था जहां पे आई पोस्टेड अबाउट सिलेबस एंड आई मेड यू अंडरस्टैंड द स्ट्रक्चर. एक वीडियो डाला था मैंने, आई पोस्टेड अ वीडियो दैट वाज अ पब्लिक वीडियो. There I made you understand the structure of the syllabus, that how the syllabus has been organized. Now, I have taken my Google Drive class today. Today's Google Drive class is also available on my channel. That is again free. You can watch it. It was the first class of offline batch. Now this is the first class of online batch. And here, I'll actually tell you how to start your preparation following the syllabus. Syllabus को follow करते हुए पढ़ना कैसे है. Now, all the students who are following my classes, along with this, also go for that offline batch Google Drive class. उसको भी देख लो. Watch that class also, so that you have a proper understanding. और अब चलते हैं syllabus pattern पे. The first thing, what students do is they follow UGC NET pattern. आप follow करते हो UGC NET pattern syllabus, right? What's the easiest way to find out the syllabus? Google syllabus that has been prescribed by UGC NET, right? But when you check the question paper, in the last question paper, questions were asked from Indian aesthetics, which is not mentioned. Dasarupa. Dasarupa, it was a kind of question people got scared. Oh my God, what is Dasarupa? कहाँ से आ गया ये? Why it was asked? Was it in the syllabus? No. They went in deep and they asked questions from American history. History of American English literature. Was it in the syllabus? No. Dalit literature mentioned in the syllabus? No. Why are they asking question about mother languages? Technically, if you follow the fixed syllabus, you are going to mess. So, as all the students who are going to be the part of my classes who are already registered, my pattern is, हमारा pattern क्या है? How are we going to start? Because I have to tell you the strategy also. The strategy and the pattern we are going to follow. The first thing you have to check out here is we have to start with basics. Why do we have to go for? Why do we have to go for basics? Because many of you do not have proper colleges. You have not been to good colleges. Teachers were not teaching you with basics, and I have seen most of the students, they get confused with sonnets, lyrics, or if they're just asked simple question, the difference between novel and drama. So we'll be teaching you some basics so that you have a base. Along with that, we'll be going for the most important thing, chronology. इस बार के पेपर में सबसे बड़ा इशू था chronology का. In the first 4 units, drama, poetry, non-fiction, short story, and fiction, what's the most important thing? The writers who have written various books, novels, drama, and other things with the timings and all. So, to start your UGC NET English preparation, the best thing is you start with British history. Why? British history of English literature. हमें British history of English literature से क्यों start करना चाहिए? British history of English literature. Simple thing. First, it all starts with British history only. Criticism, theories, these are the part of advanced level studies, but earlier it was just British literature, simple British literature. Moreover, if you start with literary criticism, you will not be able to understand and connect it to any literary book if you have not read. So technically you should go for some understanding of books, writers, concept, because when you study criticism, you can connect. After 20th century, most of the lit theories were formed. So theories are obviously studied after the 20th century modern literature. Uske baad, after that, you go for parallel literature and other things. Now see this thing, it is not a YouTube presentation, it is a class. So I am using my pen, I'm writing in front of you. It is not some pre-planned, prepared lecture. It is just direct teaching. This is the way I will teach you. Now, let's write down the concepts that we have to finish and we have to focus. All the students who are watching it, you can also use pen, paper and note it down. Use pen, paper and note it down so that you're prepared with it. We will be going for British literature. Once we are done with chronology, I'll introduce the syllabus in a proper way. I'll let you know the chronology and then we'll start British literature. Now, what should you keep in your mind? Because now you're going to be my student. Those who are already registered, you're watching it. ध्यान से देखो. British literature में सबसे पहले हमें क्या करना है? History. Which age? What are the tribes? What happened in 650? What happened in 450? What was the concept of 850? King Alfred कौन था? सबसे पहला writer कौन है? What was the connection of Cadman and Bede? Who are the first writers? What is Dream of the Rood? What is Beowulf? Who was Cinewulf? Complete history. Then the most important thing where people make mistakes. So I'll change the pen. Language history. Here most of the students don't study. Language history. Do you know what was the actual language of Anglo-Saxons? How English came? What was the language just before English? And was it pure language? There are 8 to 10 questions which are asked from the language studies because early development of language in Europe, Indo-European languages, Celtic languages, Saxon languages, Norman languages. We have to go for a proper study of language history so that we can understand. Paper में question आ चुका है that pick the dialect which was used to be converted in English. What is Mercian dialect? What is Frisian? What is East Midland? What is Southern Brium, Northern Brium, Kentish? Don't worry, ये सब पढ़ाऊंगा. I'll teach you all these things in detail. I'll make you write these things in detail. Don't worry. Then social structure. If you think I have mugged up writers, books, and I'm prepared for NET, no. Social structure. What if they ask you a question? This is actually a question. What if they ask you, in Anglo-Saxons and Anglo-Normans, in which age literature flourished more? In which age we have more imaginative poetries? Which literature is more religious, Anglo-Saxon or Anglo-Normans? So if you understand the social structure, if you understand the role of church, if you understand the condition of women, and if you understand the concept of authority, remember Michel Foucault, the power structure, history of sexuality में बोलता है, power structure in any social concept makes us understand the domination of society. Just like Antonin Gramsci, who talks about cultural hegemony. Antonin Gramsci tells us that dominant class, it overpowers the other cultures. So we have to go for that cultural hegemony concept to understand this. आपको पता है ग्रेट वॉवेल शिफ्ट करके बकायदा एक कॉन्सेप्ट स्टडी हुआ था एलिजाबेथन्स में. That is a study done by Otto Jespersen. Why do we have to go for language and these things? There is a concept called great vowel shift. Great vowel shift by Otto Jespersen. Questions have been asked. I will be using a modern, postmodern linguistic theory to deal with these terms. In NET exam, there was a question, what is culinary terms? What is culinary terms? Now imagine this thing. Do you know that? Question of NET exam. You can Google it. आप Google कर सकते हो. Culinary terms. Imagine. Have you ever felt my blood is boiling? Bheja fry. Have you ever warned someone, I'll chop you? Done that? Boiling. What's cooking in your brain? Cooking. Chopping. Grilling. Ah, the interviewer grilled me, yaar. These are culinary terms, but not, the question was not that easy. Question was not that easy. The question was, the culinary terms in English literature, English language have been taken from. I studied for 2 hours to find out the direct source, French language, from French to English, culinary terms. This kind of concept we have to study here in the British literature. So I just gave you the idea. For example, you're studying history, we have to go for condition of society, condition of women. In all these British history ages, you have to understand what was the condition of women in Victorians, why George Eliot was named George Eliot. Have you wondered about this thing? Anybody? This time also it was question in exam. The real name of George Eliot, match the following. Mary N. Evans. Mary N. Evans. Why George Eliot had to go for a male pseudonym? Have you ever imagined about this thing? Why George Eliot had to go for a male pseudonym? Male pseudonym की क्या जरूरत पड़ गई? Why? What was the need? You'll say, sir, female writers were not allowed to write at that time. Elizabeth Barrett Browning was writing. Remember Elizabeth Barrett Browning, wife of Robert Browning? She was writing. Christina Rossetti was writing. Elizabeth Gaskell was writing. Bronte sisters were writing. So female writers were allowed to write. Then if the female writers were allowed to write, why a female writer took the male name? So if you understand the condition of women in Victorians, women was in stereotype. George Eliot herself mentioned this thing that I took a male pseudonym because I wanted to be taken seriously. Now, if they just ask you, what was the condition of religion in Victorians, social structure, and if you have no idea about Tractarians, question of NET exam, this time only, इसी बार का question है, नया question नहीं है. We have taught our students last batch Tractarian age, Tractarian movement, Oxford movement. इस बार question था, नाम पूछा गया था, pick the right pair, Newman, Pusey, Froude, सबके नाम पूछे गए थे. These concepts make you understand. So first thing, when you read British literature, go for history, go for society, go for language, and if there is some big event. Now this is again important. I'm telling you how to study. Even if you are not registered, this free class will help you. अगर आप registered नहीं हैं, हमारी classes में join नहीं हैं, तो भी आपको समझ में आएगा. Those who are registered, I will teach these things. It is my responsibility. Those who are not registered, you can watch it. You can do it on your own. Events. कौन-कौन सी events? For example, French Revolution. So most of the books will be related to French Revolution. Norman Conquest. Norman Conquest ले लेते हैं यहाँ पे. Now 1066 Norman Conquest is a groundbreaking thing, epoch-making thing. Then French Revolution. Many of you have read Wordsworth in your universities. There's a famous quotation, बहुत famous quotation है. Quotation simple सा था. Bliss was it in that dawn to be alive, to be young was very heaven. Bliss was it in that dawn. So I'll write it for you, right? आपको लिख देता हूँ मैं. Bliss was it in that dawn. What is that dawn? Question of NET exam. In this famous quotation, what do you mean by that dawn? Bliss was it in that dawn, to be alive. If you do not know French Revolution and the connection with Wordsworth, you will miss it. That will be a gone thing. That's what you have to understand. Events, these concepts. Was this the phase that launched thousands of ships? Then, once you are done with these things, then here you have to go for groups, movements, and You can simply say some famous publications, publishing houses. So once you're done with writers, books, so social structure, history, language, events, then you have to go for groups. If the writers made any group, what was called Kit Kat group? What do you mean by Knickerbocker group? What do you mean by Leather Stocking group? What do you mean by Silver Fog group? These kind of groups. So if you remember this, even silver poets are a group. Then movements. So what do you mean by Beat Generation? What was the movement poetry? These kind of movements, short-lived movements and all. Caroline movement was a short-lived movement. Then famous publications. Famous publications, they can simply ask you that Wasteland was published in. So you should know that it was published in the magazine by Virginia Woolf. अपनी ही magazine उन्होंने publish कर लिया था. So you have to go for all these things. Along with this, quotations, लिख सकते हो आप, lines, quotes, ending lines, and lead characters, hero, heroine. In literary language, we call it protagonist, villain, antagonist, and then other characters. Lead female protagonist, then foil character, hero, heroine, villain, then important two characters. One character who turns the table, like Bosola. You have to go for all these things. Opening line, last line, famous quotations. If there is some famous reference, if there is some kind of literary quote involved in it, you have to focus on all these things. ये आपको करना है in British history now. This will help you to develop a map to study so that you can start your preparation. Same thing that you did here, you have to do in world literature. Same thing you have to do in world literature. Same thing you have to do in American literature. Even in fact, this time they have asked American history of literature. So British history of literature, now American history they have asked this time in NET exam. American history पूछी गई है. So just the same pattern, same concept you have to apply here, you have to apply here. Then the worst thing that makes it very tough for you is you have to apply it here. World literature, it will be everything. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, एक unknown writer आ जाएगा. Though it's not that unknown. It's not that unknown. But students studying from small town, yes, I know it's unknown for you. Ben Okri will be asked. Ethel Fugard will be asked. So world literature, same concept. American literature, same concept. Indian literature, same concept. And then comes the contemporary literature, where you say that, sir, we have got unknown names. In contemporary literature, you have to apply the same method. All the list of unknown writers, tough writers, books में writers मिलते नहीं. We have to go for these writers for all these major. If you're studying Greek literature, you should know that what was the idea of Greek writings, who are the famous concepts of Greeks, what are the famous Greek mythology. 90% students do not know Apollo. Apollo is the god of what? Who is the god of war? Who is the goddess of beauty? Sometimes people say, okay, Venus is the goddess of beauty. Who is the god of wine? Bacchus. Who is the god of love? Cupid. So these kind of concepts are important. Then we switch to other portions. Once you're done with these things, then you have to go for literary criticism. Literary criticism. Here you have to start with two parts. Classicals and liberals, or you can simply say romantics. अब देखो, जब criticism पढ़ना start करोगे, we are not going to read the writers or the basic introduction only. You have to understand why these writers were sticking to their point, why they were trying to prove their point is correct. When Plato said everything is copied, everything is mimetic, how he is proving it, why he took the example of carpenter. Carpenter concept क्यों important है? ये आपको concept वहाँ देखना पड़ेगा. Along with that, what was the difference between Plato and Aristotle? Then how Aristotle made the ideas better? Why Aristotle is called father of criticism, not Plato? then Horace, Longinus, then all other writers in literary criticism, and you have to go for it in proper concept. Problem in literary criticism is that if it is not explained, it is tough because they have written a lot. तो हम भी बोर हो जाते थे, हम we also used to sleep in class in literary criticism, and I paid a price for that because I had to read a lot to understand. हमारे टीचर्स जब पढ़ाते थे हम सो जाते थे. So literary criticism is the base, because the moment you have the base of literary criticism, you start understanding appreciative criticism, you start understanding traditional criticism, biographical criticism, then you are able to understand literary theory. And from here, these things will be divided like this. Context-oriented theories, text-oriented approach, reader-oriented approach, these kind of concepts, various theories. So in context-oriented theories, you will have feminism, post-colonials, Marxism, the archetype mythological theories, these kind of things, psychoanalysis and all. In text-oriented theories, you will be going for structuralism, post-structuralism, deconstruction, new criticism, formalism. Author-oriented approaches, maybe we have to choose some stylistics and the concept of four-author theory by Foucault. Plus, when you go for reader response, reception aesthetics, इस बार भी यहाँ से बड़ा आसान क्वेश्चन आया था. So theory, once we are going for these things, we'll be dealing with new historicism, hermeneutics, phenomenological reduction theory. Along with these things, now they have introduced some latest theories. These latest theories are the part of cultural studies. Once you're done with these things, and these things will take time. Cultural studies. आज मैंने अपनी ऑफलाइन क्लास में भी यही पूछा था, व्हाट इज कल्चर, व्हाई दे आर स्टडीइंग कल्चर. What do you mean when you say that I understand a person the moment I talk to a person? ऐसा होता है? You have seen this? The moment you talk to me, I got you, man. I understood you. जैसे ही तुमने मुंह खोला, मुझे पकड़ लिया तुमको. Sapir-Whorf analysis बोलते हैं. This is called Sapir-Whorf analysis. So what is Sapir-Whorf analysis? What is third space theory? What is Gestalt theory? Stranger King concept. These things are involved. आपको एक कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ना पड़ेगा, हाई कल्चर, लो कल्चर कॉन्सेप्ट, रेमंड विलियम्स क्या बोल रहा है वहां पे, मैक्स वेबर एंटी पॉजिटिविज्म क्या है, देन सिमुलेक्रा सिमुलेशन कॉन्सेप्ट्स कैसे इन्वॉल्व होंगे, एंड देन व्हाट इज द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ ग्राफिक नॉवेल्स. इट्स सो बिग दैट वी कैन ऐड अ लॉट. और फिर आपको डॉना हैरावे, साइबॉर्ग लिटरेचर डालना पड़ेगा. फिर यहाँ पे साइबॉर्ग लिटरेचर आ जाएगा. Her famous work, Cyborg Manifesto, 3 to 4 questions, 2 times in Jamia MPhil entrance. अब देखो, लग रहा है ये कैसे होगा? अभी बहुत है. अभी linguistics है, English in India है, research है. Along with these things, it's vast. So, what should be the right approach? Once we are done with these things, then we have to go for a basic, simple and basic approach towards linguistics. फिर हम linguistics में जाएंगे. Now remember this thing, your linguistics is mentioned as language theory, language pedagogy, language theory. In linguistics, language pedagogy, language theory, unit 5, we have to talk about idea of language first. Language, how it got developed. What does it mean when you say you are a translated man? Famous line by Salman Rushdie, we are all translated men. What does it mean when there is a statement, it is a famous statement, colorless green ideas sleep furiously. What does that mean? These references of parole, language competence, language performance, the idea of semiotics, the idea of intertextuality, then the language acquisition theory by Stephen Krashen, then the original first ever language acquisition, the ding dong theory, Tata theory, Lala theory. These kind of linguistic theories will be part of it. And yes, Sapir-Whorf analysis, which is also called the linguistic relativity theory, that will be studied here. यहाँ पे हम ये सारे concepts करेंगे, language को study करेंगे. Once we are done with these things, जैसे हम ये सारी चीजें complete कर लेंगे, हम जाएंगे सबसे आसान यूनिट पे. ये आपकी सबसे आसान यूनिट होगी, English in India. It's going to be easy. Why? Because what is Creole, what is Pidgin, what is idiolect, ideoglossia, sociolect, historiolect, and along with these things, we'll be going for all types of random words. What is calc words? What is loan words? What is register? Once we are done with these things, we just have to study the history of English. First, we have to study history of English in India. Do you know Macaulay is the father of English education in India? But one Indian supported English in India. The father of English language in India as an Indian, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Yes, one man supported English in India. What is Butler English? What is the concept of Madras presidency? Which presidency supported English language? What is the reference of Babu English? Name the famous poet who made the fun of Babu English. ये सारे concepts यहाँ पे आएंगे. Famous quotations by Macaulay. Macaulay has actually given sensational quotations. ये सारे concepts हम यहाँ करेंगे. Then various committees from Radha Krishnan to Hartwood और सारी committees आएंगी. Hartog Commission आ जाएगा. इसके अलावा सैडलर कमीशन, फिर जो वुड डिस्पैच, ऐसे बहुत सारे कमीशंस आएंगे. बट इट इज इजी. व्हाई इट इज इजी? बिकॉज इट इज फिक्स्ड. दिस इज फिक्स्ड हिस्ट्री. नो टफ टर्मिनोलॉजीज, जस्ट फैक्ट्स फैक्ट्स फैक्ट. यू जस्ट हैव टू रीड फैक्ट्स. इस बार भी क्वेश्चन आया था ना, द ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज एक्ट 344, 346, 347. वी विल बी कंप्लीटिंग दीज थिंग्स. यहां से क्वेश्चंस मिलेंगे आपको. देन research methods, research concepts in English. We will be dealing with the basic research methods that you use in paper 1, but then we will take references of English books, bibliography, MLA format so that you understand in English relations. So that's again a dull topic, but yes, the idea of MLA 9, this time it was a question, the idea of writing a bibliography, idea of mentioning footnotes, idea of mentioning keynotes. This is very important. I'll prepare you with these things, but technically this is also an easy topic. अब इन सारी चीजों में सर ये सब आसान है, तो टफ क्या है? See, the tough thing is when you study Booker, आपको ये सब की लिस्ट बनानी है. Nobel, then you have to go for Pulitzer, then you have to go for Sahitya Awards, Academy Awards, Sahitya Akademi Awards. Then you have to go for Granta Magazine Awards. आपको Granta Awards पढ़ने हैं. ये सारी लिस्ट बनेगी. Then ज्ञानपीठ, then Arthur C. Clarke Award, Prometheus Awards. Questions have been asked from these things. Then magazines and other things. In my next class, I'll explain these things in detail. जो बच्चे, those who want to join me now, जिसको join करना है, WhatsApp me 8595738519. I will teach you through video. That will be a video online course. No more podcast lectures, complete video classes. Complete video classes. Till then, I'll see my Amazon guy. यही प्रॉब्लम है घर से पढ़ाने का. But don't worry. No, मैं हमेशा ऑर्डर नहीं करता. So drop me a WhatsApp message if you're still not registered. I'll see you soon. And tomorrow, next class is free, next class is free, next class is free. I'll give you 3-4 more classes so that you understand these things. See you tomorrow. This man is going to die.